Are you starting to think that college isn't for you? I mean, it wasn't for me either. But, if you're thinking that you don't want to go to school or that you're not going to finish school, that doesn't mean that you're destined to be a loser.
In this video, we're going to talk about 6 things that you can do instead of getting your regular college degree.
If you're new to this channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Don't forget about hitting that bell so you can get the notifications when we put out new videos. And the comments below, let us know if you think you want to go to college or not. All right, kids, check it out. I went to college, went for about a year, decided, man, this ain't for me. After my 4th term, I was like, yo, we are out. Ain't doing this anymore. I mean, I would have been so upset if I had taken out student loans or something to go to college because, it just 100% wasn't for me. Now, not saying I'm super successful or anything, but if you look at this nerd over here next to me, old Mr. Brad Bachelor degree, he's been sitting next to this GED college dropout for the last 7 or 8 years. And look, here we are together. Speaking of your bachelor's degree, where's that thing at? It's not even hung up on the wall or anything.
Yeah, it's in a box. I don't even care about it.
That's an expensive piece of paper, man.
It literally has never done anything for me. We're both active duty military for the National Guard, and I'm not an officer, so I don't care about it. The military paid me to go to college, paid for college, but I didn't do anything with it.
There's people spent $80,000 for that same piece of paper that you have in a storage shed somewhere.
Yeah, I know.
Shame on you.
And, tangent here, only 25% of people actually work in the field that they got their degree in. Most people don't even use it. They're doing something totally different. Okay, so the information came for it. You probably figured out college sucks. It takes a lot of time. It's super expensive, and maybe you just don't want to go anymore because it's not worth it to you. And how do you pay for it? You don't want to take all those student loans. So now what do? You go work at Jack in the Box? You go work at a hotel changing sheets the rest of your life? I hope not. There are so many opportunities out there. I hope that is not what you find yourself doing, or working at a coffee shop as a barista or as a server for the rest of your life. A lot of people have an issue with maybe their college professor. They just don't like that individual, and then they want to get out of college. And that you shouldn't let one person ruin your experience for you. But maybe it's you. Maybe you just don't like going to college. Maybe it's just not your thing, right? Or maybe what you're studying just isn't good for you, right? You're actually interested in doing something else. I don't know what your unique situation is, but whatever it is, if you end up getting out of college, there's a lot of things you can still do in order to be successful. Please, please, please do not end up dropping out of college and then going to work in Jack in the Box, or being a barista somewhere, or being a server for the rest of your life. There are way too many other opportunities out there that you can do, and we're going to talk about those.
Oh yeah, we are. Coming in at number 1, pursue a vocational school. Okay? Now this is going to be called a lot of different things. It could be called a vocational school. It could be called a trade school. It could be called a technical school. Okay? But essentially what this is this is going to be a school that's going to teach you a particular skill for a particular job. All right? It's going to be taught at a community college typically. It's going to be a lot shorter than your traditional 4-year degree. So if you wanted to go learn how to be a plumber or an HVAC technician, they have a school specifically for that without all the extra fluff like the prerequisites and all the other silly stuff. And you can just go there, you can get your certificates, and then you can go out into the workforce. Sometimes you can do it at the same time. You can get paid in the job while you're going to the trade school or the vocational school. That term is used interchangeably, so if you hear that throughout this video or on other videos or on the interwebs, it means the same thing, okay? Well, that's number 1. Pursue a trade school, okay?
And to piggyback on what he said, the nice part too is, yeah, you're doing a lot of learning in the classroom about that trade because you have to know the fundamental knowledge part of it, but then you're actually doing a practical application where you're using your hands and you're applying that knowledge and you're figuring out how to actually go do those things. And for a lot of people, that hands-on experience of it is the missing element of college.
I'm a hands-on learner. If you want me to learn something, I need to see it be done, and I need to do it with my hands, with some guidance here and there. I don't learn virtually. It's not very good for me. No. You want me to read something, I'm going to have to read it 5 times for me to digest it. So, trade school, very good for me.
All right, the next one is going to be enroll in a boot camp. And no, we're not talking about the military boot camps. We'll talk about that later. But we're talking about programming and coding boot camps. So with universities failing to produce enough people who are proficient at coding and programming, focusing on STEM, there is a massive opening in the market right now. So actually, last year, year before, Tim Cook from Apple, the CEO, announced that they are hiring people without computer programming degrees because they don't care about that, right? Normally, you go spend $100,000 on a computer programming degree, it gets a job somewhere at some tech firm. Apple came out and said, we don't care about that. Just because you have a little piece of paper that says you graduated from college doesn't mean you're proficient at coding. And so he recommended taking these coding bootcamp classes, and then Apple will test you, and a lot of other tech companies now will test you based on your knowledge, and then now you're going to get hired over that person who spent 4 years in college but isn't actually proficient at coding, right? So you're learning the actual skills you need to go make money, and at these tech firms, right, Silicon Valley, they're hiring you based on what you know, not based on a degree anymore.
Next up, consider community college. Okay, when people talk about colleges, they're typically thinking about those big universities with 4-year degrees. But community colleges can be a great alternative. I mean, not only are they easier to get into, they accept more people into their programs, and it could just be a great alternative for you.
Especially if you got a family, or you don't want to leave your family, or 4 years is just too much time for you to commit. Community colleges are also a lot less expensive. You're talking at least half the tuition rate of a big university.
At least.
Yeah, they offer different kinds of programs. They're more flexible typically, so that if you're going to have to work full time, you can take classes at night, or you can take classes on the weekends. And if going to school online is not your thing, which after 2020 we found out most people don't like doing stuff online all the time, then community colleges still offer that flexibility that a lot of big universities don't. And not to mention, there are a lot of associate's degrees that still get paid really good money that you don't need to spend all that money and time to go get a 4-year degree. So if spending 4 years in college isn't your thing, then maybe 2 years is. Maybe staying close to home. It's cheaper that way. Costs a lot less money if you can still stay at your parents' house and live at your parents' house, or live in whatever town you live in, then go off to a big city and go live at a university on campus or whatever. I mean, the cost of living is more expensive half the time than paying for your tuition. So before you scratch off college completely, right, and I know we're talking about community college now, and we're talking about the whole title of this video is what to do when you don't want to go to college, but community colleges also offer a lot of different certifications that you can go and get, and then use those certifications to go make a lot of money. Or go make more money than what you would if you were untrained and unskilled. So, some kind of education somewhere, you got to invest in yourself in order to go make more money, and that way you're not doing unskilled labor and making minimum wage forever.
Yeah. I mean, money isn't everything, but it definitely helps.
There's a lot more to life than struggling to pay bills.
Yeah. Next on the list, join the military. I mean, that's what we did, and it wasn't even planned. I mean, in our teenage days, never did we see ourselves being G.I. Joe. But here we are, years later, both recruiters for the National Guard. I've been in for 14 years. He's been in for 18 years. I mean, and it's been great. But just like college isn't for everybody, neither is the military. But if you think that it might be a right fit for you, I mean, the military can change your life.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Joining a branch of the military comes with a bunch of benefits. I mean, not only are you going to get paid each month, you're going to get education benefits, healthcare benefits, dental coverage. I mean, you can even qualify for cool things like the VA home loan. And if you want to find out about how to buy a house, we have a video on that, and the link is going to be in the description below, so check it out.
In the military, you're going to receive professional and technical training, and depends on what your job is. It can be anything from aviation to engineering to human resources, or, what do we have? 170 different jobs to choose from. So it's a huge array of options that you can get trained on. And then on top of that, you also get college credits for your training. So in addition to the pay and benefits that Philip was talking about, you're going to learn a lot of other things while you're in the military. They're going to stick with you for the rest of your life. You're going to learn how to function under high amounts of stress and operate and keep your calm and your cool composure. You're going to learn all kinds of other soft skills and traits that are in high demand in the civilian sector. Things that are hard to learn in regular life, you get from your experience in the military. And that's why a lot of people end up becoming business leaders or politicians or entrepreneurs or managers in big companies because they have these traits and soft skills that everybody is looking for now.
Absolutely. And if you guys are going to go talk to a recruiter, since we're recruiters, let's give you a piece of advice, okay? Now, there are different branches of the military, okay? And unfortunately, it's not a one shoe fits all. So go and talk to every branch of the military before you commit to one. If one of these recruiters at one of these branches of service is talking to you and they don't want to let you go talk to somebody else, you should probably raise your eyebrow with that recruiter and just pay a little bit of extra attention because they might not be telling you everything that you need to hear, or they're telling you stuff that they don't feel is good enough to keep you, okay? So go out, check out the Army, check out the Army Reserves, the Army National Guard, the Navy, the Air Force, the Air National Guard, all those different branches. Oh, don't forget about the Marine Corps, okay?
And the Coast Guard.
And the Coast
They
Guard.
are a branch,
yeah.
I know.
Yeah, the Space Force isn't recruiting new people yet like that. They're taking people from other branches of the military, so unfortunately, you can't go be an astronaut yet, but maybe one day here soon.
But if you're going to do it, point is getting at is you want to make a well-informed decision. So there's a branch for every different personality type. So do your due diligence and shop around.
Yeah.
Other recruiters are going to hate us for saying that.
Fight us. All right. Next up, get an internship. Now, you might not be able to get the job of your dreams without having the required training or the required degree, but you might be able to get an internship in the job field of your dreams. I mean, who knows? Maybe you realize that you hate it and it's not all it cracked up to be, or maybe you love it, or maybe you find something else within that area that you like more than what you originally thought. I mean, some internships can be paid, some are going to be free, but either way, getting your foot into the door is going to be a great help to get you into that position once you do meet the requirements for that job. I mean, there's a lot of big companies out there like Google and Apple and IBM and Whole Foods and all these other places out there that are accepting people for internships with just a high school degree, or high school diploma. So if this is something that you think you're interested in, I mean, you should absolutely check it out because you can gain so much insight and knowledge from doing something like this.
And to add on to what Philip is saying, those companies, Apple, IBM, Tesla, all these big companies now are actually hiring people based on what they know, like we were saying earlier, based on what they know and their experience over having a degree. So if you intern somewhere and you get all that experience, 2 or 3 years or whatever it is, there's a good chance, based on how they're hiring people now, you can go get a job if you can prove that you know what it is that you're supposed to know in that career field, right?
Yeah.
So you might not even need to go to college. You just have to have that work experience, depending on what you're going to do.
Yeah.
Right. Obviously, if you're going to be a doctor, you got to go to college. But if you're going to be, coding or whatever it is, and you go get that internship, and you have all that experience, you're going to have all that experience over somebody who went to college.
Yeah. So go get learned, boys and girls. It's important stuff.
All right. So the last one is take time to travel. And unless you come from a rich family, you probably don't have somebody that's going to just bankroll you to travel around the world for a year or two or whatever it is. So you're going to have to find some way to do it productively, right? Like volunteering for an organization like the Red Cross or some other kind of organization, and travel the world and go do things while you're helping other people, seeing new places, developing and bettering yourself as a person, right? And, getting a lot of life experience that you can't get while you're in college, not that kind of life experience. And once you're working full time or you get a family, you're definitely not going to be able to do that kind of stuff. You just can't usually peace out. So do it now. Take that year off. Go volunteer. You're still going to make money with a lot of these organizations like UNESCO or WWF or Red Cross. They're going to pay you. It's not always unpaid, but you're going to see the world. You're going to develop. You're going to have a much broader view of things, and you're going to come back probably a different person. So
yeah. I mean, it's a good opportunity. If you got the time and the means to do so, I mean, do it. Check it out. It's great. But before you completely wipe out college, entirely right now, just because now is not the time for you doesn't mean that college might not be right for you in the future. Okay, so I mean, if you need to take one of these options, do it for a little bit and then go back to college once you're a little bit more mature, or a little bit more prepared, or financially stable, or just stable, period. I mean, do that. I mean, go back. It's a thing that people do. You know, they start it here, they didn't like it for whatever reason, and then they go back and they finish it later. I mean, that is a thing. So, I mean, college can still be in your future if you think that you need it or whatever. So, just keep that, you know, in the back of your mind.
And I mean, we're both definitely haters of college. I went to college, and I mean, I got a degree. It's not worthless, but it's worthless to me because I don't ever want to use it. I got in political science. I don't want to be a politician. I think they're scum. But I wouldn't have gone if the military didn't pay for it. And if you don't have a solid plan on how you're going to pay for school, and it doesn't make sense for you, and it's not really something you want to do, it does not mean you're going to be successful just because you go to college.
Damn
Gotta
right.
put that out there. We make great money, and I mean, he never went to college and got a GED, right? Depends on how you hustle, right, and how hard you want to work, and I mean, what you want to do with your life. College does not mean you're going to be successful. I know a lot of people who went to college and they're working at Starbucks. In reality, we don't really care if you pick something off this list as long as you do something productive. Productive, right? Don't just quit college and then do nothing. That is the wrong answer.
Yep. I mean, the worst answer, you know, like, oh, I quit, I'm a failure, I'm just going to sit here and make these tacos wrong at Taco Bell for $15 an hour for the rest of my life.
Do not give up on yourself.
Oh, God, don't do it. Okay? It'll be bad. If you like this video, hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. In the comments below, let us know if you have any questions.
And we'll see you in the next video.